Hey everyone, if you saw the title of this YouTube video and maybe you're a new motorcycle rider or you're looking to get a faster bike and you want a first beginner bike that's going to be fast, looks nice, and checks off all your boxes, then I think this is the bike for you right here. So what you're looking at is a 2006 Yamaha FZ6, which is essentially the baby brother to the R6. And I know what some of you guys are thinking. If you know what the FZ6 is, you're going to say, hey, that's a sport touring bike. That's not a sports bike. And yeah, you're correct. But with a couple modifications and a couple things to add, you can make it look exactly like a sports bike, exactly like essentially the R6, with almost all the same features of it, with the added benefits that it's going to be more comfortable. It's going to be cheaper on insurance, cheaper to buy, with the caveat that it's a bit less speed, but I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick walk around of it so you can see the bike, and then we'll hop on it and we'll ride and talk about the bike. So the first thing that mostly are going to be looking at is these fairings right here. The lower fairings didn't come with the bike. It's not stock. When it comes stock, it just comes with the upper part of it, and then all the engine here is exposed. But the previous owner added on these lower fairings, and in my opinion it looks a lot better. It looks definitely like more of the sports bike part of it with the lower fairings, and that's just one easy thing you can do to make your FZ6 look the part, and it just looks really good, as well as these aftermarket sporty mirrors, just other general things. But yeah, let's hop on the bike and we'll talk more about it. Okay, let's start off with what you get on the dash here. So, on the dash, it has your display, which shows your RPM gauge, your speed, fuel tank. You got hazard lights, which is nice. This person installed an aftermarket heated grip system in it, and a little 12-volt charger there just to charge any phones or whatever. Let's turn on the bike here. Alright, so this bike does have a center stand, which is nice, as well as a kickstand. Makes it super easy to lube your chain or just do general maintenance. Alright, so getting started, let's answer the question of why anyone would get this bike over a 600cc sport bike. So the first biggest reason, in my opinion, would be the cost of insurance. So depending on where you live, you might get screwed because your insurance companies, when they see a new rider, and you probably clicked on this video because you are a new rider or you're young, and insurance companies just see you as liability in their eyes. So they're gonna try and screw you over on insurance and make it super expensive if you try to get a 600cc sport bike. I know last year when I was looking at it, my dreams were kind of crushed because I was looking at getting a 2006 R6, same year as this, just the sport bike 600cc version of it, and I got quoted at $450 per month. And I'm a 26-year-old guy with a clean driving record, no tickets, no accidents, and I got quoted at $450 a month. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty unobtainable in my eyes. I don't have the money to just spend $450 a month on a nice toy. If you do have the money for that, that's all power to you, you know, amazing. But for a lot of people out there, that's not going to be an option. So, coming to this, sport touring, FZ6 is just basically the R6 sport touring version of it, and I'm now paying $84 a month compared to $450 a month. So that is a huge difference. Now, another reason is just cost of the bike in general. So these, you can find these used all day long for about 2,500 to 3,000 Canadian, or not Canadian, American, and then in Canadian these usually go for 3,000 to 4,000 Canadian, which is not too bad at all. It's definitely probably, I'd say, $1,000 to $2,000 cheaper on average compared to the 600cc sport bike version of these ones. So yeah, if you want to save on money from insurance and the cost of the bike, then these are definitely the way to go. And going over to speed, so with your typical 600 sport bikes, they're gonna average around about 265, 270 kilometers an hour max speed, whereas this max speed's around 235 kilometers an hour. So if you can afford to lose 30 kilometers an hour top speed and have all the other benefits, like I just said, the cheaper insurance, cheaper cost of the bike, if 30 kilometers an hour isn't a big difference to you, get this bike. Another big reason why this bike is very good for beginners or just anyone looking to get a fast bike, but also want it to be comfortable. The ergonomics of this bike are great. The seat is super comfy. You're not in a sport bike position where you're bent over the tank. I can ride this bike, and I did ride this bike when I first got it. I got it 3 hours away. I rode it back on the highway for 3 hours. I had no issues. It's super comfy. You're sitting basically upright. If you want to tuck, you can tuck if you're going fast, but you don't need to. Obviously, it doesn't have clip-ons. It has the normal handlebars, but I mean, if you wanted to, you could add clip-ons, but I don't see much of a point to it. But yeah, it's super comfy. You could ride this all day long. It is a sport touring bike after all, so people take this, do road trips across the country, and there's aftermarket kits you can get to for the back of it, where you can add a cargo rack to it, so you can add some more accessories or luggage compartments, which is nice. Super easy to ride, super comfortable. It's nimble enough. It's very fast for what it is. You know, first gear, it gets you all the way up to about 85 kilometers an hour. Look at that guy's got a plane right there. That's cool. Yeah, first gear gets you all the way up to around 90 kilometers an hour, which is really fun. Here, let me show you. There's no one around. And this bike, it revs to 15,000 RPM, which just sounds incredible. All right. Yeah. She's quick. Yeah, 15,000 RPM, inline, 4-cylinder, 600cc, screaming engine. Once you get an aftermarket exhaust on it, that's where it really shines, because the stock exhaust that it comes with, it's not anything special at all. You know, it's really quiet, it's really tinny, and aftermarket exhausts on these bikes are really cheap. I got mine off eBay for $180, and it sounds actually really, really good. You know, it sounds almost too loud, but depending on the person you are, you might like that. You know, I like that I can hear myself, or someone else can hear me coming on the bike from 3 blocks away. I enjoy that. I like the loud sound of it when it's screaming at 10,000 RPM and above. And yeah, this bike really shines. Once you get above 10,000 RPM, it just flies. If you stay under that, you can just cruise around, putz around town. It's very controllable. For a new rider, it's very good, because yeah, if you don't want to go crazy, if you just want to have fun and just learn the bike, just stay under that RPM range and you're set. You know, you just cruise around. It's very manageable bike. But if you want to go fast on the track, or if you want to take this on the highway and rip it, then yeah, this thing does fly. And the fuel capacity on this is a 17-liter tank, and you can get around 325 kilometers from a tank, which is really good. You know, the miles per gallon are really high. So that's another benefit of this bike. It's just an all-around great beginner bike, and you can grow into the bike too. You know, a lot of people will get this bike and then they'll get bored of it within 6 months and like, oh, I want something faster. But I'd say keep it for a bit longer, because most beginners probably think they learn the bike and think they can handle something bigger, which might be the case, but to really like learn about this bike and really take it to the track, you know, go in the corners, see how far you can push the bike, really take your time with it. There's a lot of room to grow in this bike for sure. Let's go right. Yeah, this bike is just an absolute blast to ride. You know, if you get this bike, you won't regret it. This will definitely be one of your favorite bikes. I started out on a Yamaha FZ6, just a little dual sport, and then so that was my off-road bike, and then I wanted something that I could have fun on road and on the highway, and I wanted speed, obviously, so I got this bike. It's a great in-between. If you can't afford a sport bike for insurance reasons, this bike's the way to go, you know. It's excellent. And the camera just doesn't do it justice. The sound of the exhaust that's coming out, it's incredible. It sounds so nice, so loud. If you want to hear how good this exhaust sounds right now, listen to this. Give it a little rev. Oh yeah. And there's plenty enough power if you want to pass someone on the highway or do some shenanigans. There's plenty enough juice in the bike for that. Really, I have so many good things to say about this bike. My real only complaints for this bike, there's not many. Looks wise, I'd say it's pretty well perfect except the front end. There's just something about the front end where there's this big gap in between the wheel and the fairing, which is just weird in my opinion. There's just so much empty space there. Like the R6 did a way better job of filling up that gap. And I get this is sport touring and it's slightly different, but I mean, besides that, like I can't really think of too many other complaints that I have with this bike. It's just all around really, really good. Perfect beginner bike. If you want to get into sport bikes, get into the world of that, maybe you're not comfortable yet on a 600cc or whatever, this is a great bike to get. So the stock bikes, these bikes, stock, they come with 98 horsepower, and that's for the FZ6 models, which is, I think, around like 2008, 2009 and below. Because if you go above that, it's the FZ6R, and that comes with the base of, I think, around like 70 something horsepower. So if you want more speed, more horsepower of it, try to find an earlier model of bike within the 2000s range. 2004, 2005, 2006, all that is good. And that basically wraps up this video for the FZ6. If you guys liked it, subscribe. I'm going to have more videos like this coming out on the channel. Check out my channel. It's got some other bike related content on it. If you liked it, subscribe, ride safe, and have a good day.